twice for the Pledge of Allegiance performed by yours truly the legendary AlexCardinale.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, maggots, and welcome to the first ever Memorial Day Bash here live on my YouTube channel, the legendary AlexCardinale. I'm your host, Sergeant AlexCardinale, and I only make appearances sporadically here on this YouTube channel, only on days where we celebrate our great country, America. Today is Memorial Day, a day where we honor, pay respects, and cherish those that lost their lives protecting America and ensuring that we have freedom. Freedom is not free in America. Just because you were born American doesn't mean that you automatically get freedom. People have died fighting for your freedom, so we should all be very thankful for all the veterans, past, present, and future, who fight for our freedoms. So today we're going to celebrate Memorial Day with a very special live stream that's going to be both fun and educational. There will also be an appearance by Chef AlexCardinale, and Chef Alex is going to tell us some amazing dishes that you can cook and bake for veterans and their families. And Aqua Alex is going to talk about how aquariums can benefit veterans and their families as well. And I, Sergeant AlexCardinale, will talk about why Memorial Day is the most costly holiday of them all, but not in terms of money. I'm also going to talk about the true meaning and history of Memorial Day. And then towards the end of the show, I've got some messages to some veterans that are out there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this fun show started. So, what did you do for Memorial Day weekend? Let me know in the comments. What is your message to all the veterans out there? Post them in the comments and I will share your message to all the veterans that are on my YouTube channel. So unfortunately for me, I really didn't do much this Memorial Day weekend because I was working every day. So basically I worked from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today. So I really didn't have the opportunity to celebrate Memorial Day. But what I did do outside of work is I had a little barbecue with my family. And today I just had steak and a hamburger and macaroni and cheese, and that was about it. Tomorrow I'm going to make my grilled teriyaki salmon, and that will be my Memorial Day dinner. But in reality, in my humble opinion, we shouldn't really be celebrating a holiday for Memorial Day. It really should just be a day where we are celebrating in memory of all the people that lost their lives fighting for our freedoms. We shouldn't be making this a day where we have barbecues or a day where we're trying to make sales or anything like that. But that is just my personal opinion on that. And I think that's very well said. So, in the comments, let me know what you did for Memorial Day weekend and what your message to the veterans would be. So, we got a couple of people in the house. First up, we have my friend Shelby, who says, I celebrated my Memorial Day with you. Yes, you did. It was an amazing Memorial Day, Shelby. Happy birthday, by the way. Tomorrow, Shelby will be celebrating her birthday. So, happy birthday, Shelby. And thank you so much for tuning in. That means a lot to me. A very good American Shelby is. And Bob says hello. Hey, Bob, how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. Bob says that he ate a red, white, and blue steak. Actually, I think there is a culinary term for red, white, and blue steak. I think it also is known as like a Pittsburgh steak, and that is one where it's like it's like rare, but it's only cooked for like 30 seconds each side. I wouldn't eat that, but a lot of people like it that way. And Bob says, my message to the veterans is that we are glad we are not in crisis. Thanks to the millions of people in our Army. I definitely agree 100% with you, Bob. That was a great statement. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin with something that I wanted to talk about uh, since I figured I would be doing a Memorial Day show. And this is a topic that I've always wanted to talk about. So, why is Memorial Day the most expensive holiday of the year? And when I say most expensive, I'm not talking in terms of financial or money. Memorial Day is the most costly and most expensive holiday of the year because we are celebrating death. We are remembering all of the victims that died for our freedoms. And over the years, it gets into the thousands and thousands of veterans that have fought for our freedom. So if we go back to the Revolutionary War, there were military men and women who were fighting to form the United States of America. And then we go to the Civil War, where we had military fighting for the freedoms of slaves. And then there's World War I, World War II, the war in Afghanistan. So all these wars resulted in the death of a lot of innocent people. And generally speaking, the military men and women are often young. Some are even younger than I, and I'm 28 years old. So oftentimes it's people in their 20s, their 30s, and mid 30s that lose their lives. And those are people that are generally at the prime of their life. They haven't started families yet. Some may have already started families. And they are fighting for other Americans to have freedom, freedoms that a lot of people take advantage of, freedoms that most people should not have because they don't pay respects to those who they should. For example, it's when people do not do the Pledge of Allegiance or they don't rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. It's people who take a knee during the Pledge of Allegiance. By doing that, you're basically spitting on the graves of all the veterans that have served this country. You're pissing on their graves by disrespecting them. All they ask for is for you to do the Pledge of Allegiance and show them the respect that they've deserved for serving this country. You want to know who the real maggots are in this world and in this country that we live in? The real maggots are those who disrespect military men and women and veterans who are no longer here to defend this country. Those are the maggots. A good example of a maggot would be the former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who started a movement of placing a knee on the ground during the Pledge of Allegiance. That right there is the biggest maggot of them all. Now, just because you're born in America doesn't mean you get automatic freedom. People are fighting for your freedom. Freedom is not free. The least you can do as an American is pay respect to those who fight for your freedom, whether it means that they die or they suffer traumatic injuries, such as lost limbs, such as being immobile and being paralyzed, where they have to spend the rest of their life in a wheelchair. For you to spit on them by not doing a simple 30-second pledge of allegiance, you are not, in my opinion, an American citizen. Sorry, not sorry, that's the truth. You are a maggot if you do not pay respect to the veterans, the people who are no longer here to defend our country. So the next time you throw a temper tantrum about the Pledge of Allegiance being played at a sporting event or any event where there's a large gathering, remember, someone died fighting for you to have the freedom to be able to go to WrestleMania, the Super Bowl, NASCAR, whatever it is you're attending. Don't be a maggot and pay your respects to those who are no longer with their families. Remember, the families will no longer have that veteran to celebrate birthdays, to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate Thanksgiving. The least you can do as an American is be proud that you've got people fighting for your freedom. So that is why Memorial Day is the most costly holiday of the year, because people lose their lives. And I kind of went off on a tirade there, but you know, it really pains me to see people disrespect everything that veterans have done for this country. We've got veterans that walk into restaurants and they're disrespected by the younger generation. They're not thanked for their service. The least you can do as an American citizen is say thank you to these veterans. So on a day like today, Memorial Day, make sure you remember that your freedom is not free. So don't be a maggot. Remember, your freedom is not free. All right, so let's move along. And now we're going to welcome in our very first guest of the evening here on the 2022 Memorial Day Bash. I hope you guys are hungry because this guest has some amazing recipes that he is going to share with all of us. Hey everyone, Chef AlexCardinale here. Happy Memorial Day to all of the Americans out there. I would like to say thank you to Sergeant AlexCardinale for allowing me, Chef Alex, to be a part of Memorial Day. You know, I, Chef Alex, learned something new today. Memorial Day is meant to honor and pay our respects to all of the veterans and military men and women who lost their lives fighting for our great country, the United States of America. Originally, I thought Memorial Day was a day where we remember all veterans, whether alive or dead. Now, in my personal opinion, I remember and honor every veteran, whether they have suffered through serious injuries or they lost their life, or even if they lived and nothing happened to them. I am grateful for all their service and everything they have done for this great country that we live in. And as Sergeant AlexCardinale has said, freedom is definitely not free because these veterans and these military men and women fought for our freedom. They went through hell and back to make sure that us Americans in this great country that we love have our freedoms. Now, what is one way we can show our respect, and what is one way we can show our love back to these veterans and military men and women who spent months and years fighting for our freedom? Well, we can cook and bake them a delicious dinner and dessert. And that is where I, Chef Alex Cardinale, come in handy. So, on times like Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Veterans Day, we American citizens should realize that because of the veterans and the military men and women and everyone that served this great country, we should be very thankful for them and we should be doing everything we can to accommodate them. So if you have a veteran in your life, or if you have a friend that is a military man or a woman, you can cook them a delicious dinner along with a delicious dessert. So today on the Memorial Day 2022 bash, I'm going to give you some ideas of some things that you can prepare the veterans and their families and the military men and women, whether they're active in the service now or if they served before. It really doesn't matter. We should still provide them a delicious meal. So let's get started. One of the best things you can cook for a veteran is a delicious steak. Steak is loved by everybody, veterans are not. A lot of meat eaters and a lot of protein eaters love red meat, and beef is really good for the human body. It has a lot of nutrients, it has a lot of great flavor that comes from the connective tissue and the fat that is in the beef. Some of the best steaks that I recommend serving to veterans would be of a higher quality cut. So I would definitely recommend a ribeye steak. Ribeye steaks are kind of expensive, but they're not going to totally break the bank. They're a steak that has a lot of marbling, aka fat, which is good because it's going to keep your steak nice and tender and nice and moist. And we want a nice, tender, moist steak to serve a veteran or someone that has fought for our country and put their lives on the line. You could also do a New York strip, which is a great steak. You could do a porterhouse steak, which has two different types of steak attached to it. You've got the filet and then the T-bone steak, which is really good. And then prime rib is a great beef as well. Really flavorful, really tender, a lot of fat. And that means that the prime rib is going to be really, really tender if cooked right. Now, you never ever want to overcook a steak for a veteran or a military man, or for anybody in that case, because when steak is overcooked, it becomes like shoe leather, and that is absolutely horrid. I would never recommend cooking steak past medium, unless the person is adamant on having well done steak. And I don't know why people would want a well done steak, because a well done steak is probably going to be pretty tough, pretty dry, and hard to chew. You'd have to have some strong teeth to enjoy a well done steak. And that's definitely not my cup of tea. The way I like my steaks are medium, rare, or medium. Personally speaking, I would definitely recommend a steak on the medium rare side. So here is a temperature guide for those of you wondering what temperature is which, and it'll tell you the degree of doneness for each one. So here it is, folks. Rare is 125 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 52 degrees Celsius. Medium rare, which is a slight pink, is 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 57 degrees Celsius. Medium, very light pink, is 145 degrees Fahrenheit, 63 degrees Celsius. Medium well has little to no pink, and that is cooked to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, 66 degrees Celsius, and well done. No pink, absolutely no pink whatsoever. 160 degrees Fahrenheit, 71 degrees Celsius. So a good medium rare would be 130 to 135 range. And that, in my opinion, is the best way to cook a steak. And I definitely recommend getting a meat thermometer or a cooking thermometer when cooking steak. Now, if you're not into steaks, then a particular type of seafood that I really enjoy, and I think most fish lovers are going to enjoy, is a salmon. Now, this Memorial Day weekend, I am going to be preparing a delicious teriyaki salmon. So basically, I take a large salmon fillet, I cut it into 6-ounce portions, I put it in an aluminum pan, I take some salt and pepper and season generously, and then I take some teriyaki marinade, and I take the bottle of teriyaki marinade and I pour it all over the salmon. Then I put on some plastic gloves and I massage the teriyaki marinade into the salmon. Take the gloves off, grab some aluminum foil, wrap up the aluminum pan, and put the teriyaki glazed salmon in the fridge to marinate for at least 3 or 4 hours. It is best to marinate overnight, though. Why? Well, all those flavors, the salt and the pepper and the teriyaki marinade, are going to seep into the salmon, giving it more flavor. And there is nothing better than a teriyaki glazed salmon, in my personal opinion. You definitely cannot go wrong with teriyaki glazed salmon. Now, you can pan fry or saute the teriyaki salmon. You can bake it, you can broil it, but my favorite way to cook it is on the grill. Now, here's what I do to prevent it from sticking. Just take some grill cooking spray or some olive oil, put some aluminum foil on the grill, and then put either the olive oil or the cooking spray, and that will prevent the salmon from sticking. Some other classic American dishes you can prepare for veterans and anyone that has served in the military can be chicken parmesan, spaghetti and meatballs, eggplant parmesan, and lasagna. Those are all Italian American classics that any American is going to love. Then, of course, you've got hamburgers, chicken, sausage, peppers, and onions that are great on the grill. So those are all great ideas for some things that you can prepare for veterans and military men and women. As far as dessert goes, you got to keep it Americana. And what is more American than apple pie? Now, since we're technically entering summer, apple pie is more of like a fall winter dessert. And this next dessert I'm going to mention is kind of like spring, fall, winterish as well, but I think it's great in the summer. Apple crisp. Apple crisp served with a dollop of vanilla ice cream is really delicious. And another great simple dessert you can make for veterans or military men or women is bread pudding, utilizing leftover bread. And you can make a delicious custard by mixing eggs with some cream, some sugar, some vanilla extract. You can add some raisins, you can add chocolate chips, and all sorts of different add ons to make a great bread pudding. All right, I'm Chef Alex Cardinale, and I have been honored to be here with my presence here on the Memorial Day 2022 Bash. Thank you, Sergeant Alex Cardinale, for allowing me to be on the show. Happy Memorial Day, and my thoughts and prayers are with anybody that has lost a veteran this Memorial Day. Thank you guys for watching and hearing my delicious recipes. Remember, you can catch me on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale, where I will share delicious recipes, answer your cooking and baking questions. And on my 700th video coming up pretty soon, I'm going to show you how to make French onion soup. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day, everybody. Great job, you maggot. Thank you, Chef Alex, for joining the show and giving us those great recipes that we can prepare for veterans of past and present. All right, so now it's time for me, Sergeant Alex Cardinale, to address the veterans. I'm going to address the past veterans first, and then I'm going to address the current veterans. So before we do that, I have a question that I'm going to answer from one of our viewers. And Bob says, Alex, what's the most country thing you have seen? I have to think long and hard about that. I'm trying to think. The most country thing. Probably in my memory serves me right, it would be a guy that came into one of the places that I was working a couple years ago, and it looked like he had come from Texas, and he had cowboy boots on, he had a cowboy hat, a pair of jeans, and he had like red hair, and he had a gun holster and a gun on his side. So it was like a cowboy redneck all mixed into one. And it felt kind of awkward because I'm living in a large city just outside of West Palm Beach. So we're not used to seeing people from the countryside, and we're not used to seeing cowboys and things like that. So it definitely was weird and awkward and unorthodox. But it turns out that he actually was an off-duty police ranger that was visiting and helping the local police solve a missing persons case. And it was a weird case. It was actually somehow that missing person came all the way from Texas to here somehow, and I have to figure out what happened. I lost contact with that person, but that would be the most countryest thing that I have ever seen. Shout out to Mad Cypress, who's in the house. Hey, Mad Cypress, how you doing? Thank you so much for taking the time to tune into today's video. I greatly appreciate that. Okay, so now I want to address all the past veterans These are veterans that served the great country, the United States of America, and many of them, unfortunately, lost their lives fighting for our great country. Others have lost body parts. Others have lost the ability to function properly. Others have suffered post traumatic stress disorder, which is a disorder that affects about 50 to 75% of military people who go on to retire from the military. A lot of them suffer from PTSD, and because of their PTSD, they unfortunately cannot live a normal life. Um, their PTSD will cause them to panic in high crowd situations. Their PTSD will cause them to have traumatic flashbacks, which can cause them to get violent. It can also cause them to self destruct. So, I, for one, sympathize with everybody that has served, whether past, current, or in the future, because when you're serving in the military and you're going out on war, you're going to see some horrific things. I have heard stories from veterans where they have watched their friends be murdered. I have heard stories of veterans losing their friends by bomb, which certainly is definitely not a way you want to see someone die, and certainly is a horrific thing to even think about. That's why I'm not going to talk much about it. So death is a very, very common thing in the military, and it's often one of the most important things that is discussed even prior to joining the military. Um, they say that if you're agreeing to go to war, you might not come back alive, and that is certainly true because the chances of you dying in war are really high. So I'm fortunate that I was never drafted, and I'm glad, and I'd like to keep it that way. But now I'm getting older, so the chances of me getting drafted are slim to none, thank God. So my message to past veterans is simple. It's thank you for your service. And if you lost your life, I am totally sorry that you had to pay the ultimate sacrifice for all of us to have the freedoms that we have today, like living free and not worrying about people killing us from other countries. And we also have the luxury of being able to watch sports, go to events, go to circuses, carnivals, go shopping, go out to eat, all the things that we cherish. In other countries, they would kill to have what we have. In other countries, there are people fighting for food, there are people fighting for places to live. Some countries, like in South America, Asia, they don't have houses, they don't have civilization as we know it. So we are fortunate in the United States and in Canada and North America in general that we have luxury lives, because in other parts of the world, most people don't even know what social media is. To them, socializing is going out and interacting with people face to face and actually fishing, hunting, killing animals to eat. So, again, my message to past veterans, whether they died in the line of duty or they're paralyzed, they become paraplegic, thank you for your service, and I really appreciate you fighting for our freedoms, because without you, we probably would not be American citizens. So thank you very much. And to everybody that wants to become a military member, just remember the dangers that you are entering. If America is to ever go into a war, you could be drafted and you could be one of those veterans that we remember each and every Memorial Day that was lost in the line of duty. And not that that's a bad thing, but it's certainly something you have to keep in mind. You may not die, but you may watch your best friend die. You may watch your compadres die, and it is something that's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. So the people that are in the military and our veterans, when they get out, they don't live normal lives like we do. They have to deal with PTSD. They have a hard time getting jobs. They have a hard time um, having normal relationships with people. And that's the reason why a lot of the veterans are single, is because of their PTSD. They can't have a romantic relationship because they will never trust again because of what they've seen. So it is definitely something you need to be aware of. But again, my message is thank all the veterans for their service, and definitely I apologize to the veterans' families, the families that had someone that served in the military and they're not able to remember them or thank them for their service anymore because they have passed on. So right now, I would like to go ahead and take a moment of silence for all the victims and all the veterans that have passed away from the Revolutionary War all the way through the war in Iraq and Afghanistan to even today. So let's take a quick moment of silence. All right, thank you so much for that moment of silence. So, right now, I would like to talk about the history of Memorial Day and why we celebrate Memorial Day in the first place. So this is going to be like the 15 minutes of information. So, this might be what you consider the boring part of the show, but it's also going to be the most informal part of the show. So for those of you who don't live in the United States of America, and I've got audience members from China, I've got audience members from Canada, Japan, Africa, Australia. So if you're wondering why we celebrate Memorial Day, well, here is why. Memorial Day is an American holiday observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the United States military. It was originally known as Decoration Day. It originated in the years following the Civil War, and it became an official federal holiday in 1971. Many Americans observe Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries or memorials, holding family gatherings, and participating in parades. Unofficially, it marks the beginning of the summer season because of the barbecues and family gatherings. And historically, the barbecues and family gatherings were only done by those who are mourning the loss of a veteran. But now it is done by every United States of American citizen. So I should say, though, that if we are going to have barbecues and Memorial Day sales, the least we can do is remember that a lot of the veterans that we're paying respects to today are no longer alive. So always remember that, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about the birthplace of Memorial Day and early observances. The Civil War, which ended in the spring of 1865, claimed more lives than any conflict in the United States history and required the establishment of the country's first national cemeteries. By the late 1860s, Americans in various towns and cities had begun holding springtime tributes to these countless fallen soldiers, decorating their graves with flowers and reciting prayers. Did you know each year on Memorial Day, a national moment of remembrance takes place at 3 p.m. local time? I actually forgot about that today because my gift shop was so busy inside the Palm Beach Zoo, sadly. But I wish I had remembered that. That's okay. Next year we can do it. It is unclear where exactly this tradition originated. Numerous different communities may have independently initiated the memorial gatherings. And some records show that one of the earliest Memorial Day commemorations was organized by a group of formerly enslaved people in Charleston, South Carolina, less than a month after the Confederacy surrendered in 1865. Nevertheless, in 1966, the federal government declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day. Waterloo, which first celebrated the day on May 5th, 1866, was chosen because it hosted an annual community-wide event during which businesses closed and residents decorated the graves of soldiers with flowers and flags. On May 5th, 1868, General John Logan, leader of an organization from Northern Civil War veterans, called for a nationwide day of remembrance later that month. The 30th of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land he proclaimed. The date of Decoration Day, as he called it, was chosen because it wasn't the anniversary of any particular battle. On the first Decoration Day, General James Garfield made a speech at Arlington National Cemetery, and 5,000 participants decorated the graves of the 20,000 Civil War soldiers buried there. Many northern states held similar commemorative events and repraised the tradition in subsequent years. By 1890, each one had made Decoration Day an official state holiday. Southern states, on the other hand, continued to honor the dead on separate days until after World War I. Memorial Day as Decoration Day gradually came to be known, originally honored only those lost while fighting in the Civil War. But during World War I, the United States found itself embroiled in another major conflict, and the holiday evolved to commemorate American military personnel who died in all wars, including World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. For decades, Memorial Day continued to be observed on May 30th, the date General Logan had selected for the first Decoration Day. But in 1968, Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which established Memorial Day as the last Monday in May in order to create a 3-day weekend for federal employees and also for the 3-day weekend sales for businesses. The change went into effect in 1971, and it's been that way ever since. The same law also declared Memorial Day a federal holiday, and that is where we stand today. Today, we celebrate Memorial Day as a way to pay respect to everybody that's lost their lives and everyone that has served our great country. So, there you have it. That is the history of Memorial Day. And why we celebrate Memorial Day is to honor those who have passed away protecting our freedoms. And in recent years, it has been to honor everybody that has served this country, whether they have died or suffered serious injuries or survived. All right, now it's time to welcome our final guest for today's show. And I think it's time to talk about aquariums and tropical fish. Hey, tropical fish keepers, and even the non tropical fish keepers. Aqua AlexCardinale here. Happy Memorial Day to all the Americans out there, and my deepest, sincerest condolences, thoughts, and prayers to all the veterans and military men and women who lost their lives fighting for this country or are paying the ultimate sacrifice and have to live with the loss of a loved one, or serious injuries. Anyway, I want to thank Sergeant Alex Cardinale for allowing me, Aqua Alex Cardinale, the opportunity to come on the Memorial Day 2022 bash and talk about one of the things that is the biggest passion in my life, and that is, of course, aquariums and tropical fish. I can tell you that there is nobody else in the United States of America that has the passion for tropical fish like Aqua Alex does. And I tell you that from firsthand experience. I really love the aquarium hobby and I really love tropical fish. Having said that, today's topic here on the Memorial Day 2022 bash is how tropical fish and aquariums can benefit those who served in the military, whether it's the spouses of a deceased veteran who are suffering from PTSD or stress, or it's a living veteran or former Marine. Aquariums have many positives, and one of the positives that aquariums have is the positive effects that it has on health. One of those effects is that aquariums and tropical fish greatly reduce blood pressure. And not only that, it also greatly reduces stress, which definitely is something that needs to happen a lot more in this world because we live in a world where there are a lot of stressful situations. So let's get right into it and let's find out how aquariums can benefit veterans. And not only veterans, other people too. And like I said, aquariums reduce stress. A recent study found that aquariums can lower a person's blood pressure and heart rate. For the study, experts from the National Marine Aquarium, Plymouth University, and the University of Exeter assessed people's physical and mental responses to a fish tank exhibit containing different levels of fish: empty aquarium, a partially stocked aquarium, and a fully stocked aquarium like mine. Researchers found that watching the exhibit generally decreased blood pressure and heart rate. Drops in heart rate were significantly greater in the two conditions containing fish. Watching fish in aquariums gives us a break from the technology that constantly bombards us, and it helps us reconnect with nature. Numerous studies suggest getting close to nature can help you feel more relaxed and improve your mood. Aquariums help bring the outdoors inside your living room. From the fish swimming back and forth to the sound of the bubbling water, a fish tank takes you on a trip to the great outdoors without ever having to leave your living room. If you're not getting enough sleep or having difficulty falling asleep, you may want to consider giving aquarium therapy a try. The water sounds produced by aquariums provide a soothing environment that can help some people relax and fall asleep. And I can attest to this firsthand. I used to sleep in the living room where my 6 foot, 125-gallon aquarium is. And with the sounds of the canister filter and the hang on the back filter, I fell asleep instantly. Fish tanks not only lower anxiety and stress, but they can also help with sleep, says Chris Bratner, who is a certified sleep science coach at sleepzoo.com. Studies dating back to the 1980s show that watching fish in an aquarium can lower blood pressure, similar to other types of relaxation therapy and meditation. He further explains why. It seems that watching fish and listening to the trickling water causes the production of serotonin, which stimulates the brain to increase endorphins. The result, positive feelings. Such stress reduction translates well to sleep. Fish tanks are a great way to provide natural sounds that create a tranquil atmosphere to help people fall asleep. There are also a variety of fish supplies and aquarium supplies that enable fish keepers to provide their fish with a stimulating living environment while also promoting stress and anxiety relief. And that is why aquariums and tropical fish can be very beneficial to veterans and former and current military men and women. Now, if you look behind me, I've got an aquarium full of fish. Most of them are hiding behind the driftwood, but the red devil is out behind me. The water should be a little bit more clearer than it is, but I have to clean the canister filter next time I have free time. I've been working a lot. But anyways, this is Aqua Alex. A pleasure to be on the Memorial Day 2022 Bash. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day, and you can catch me right here on this YouTube channel, the legendary AlexCardinale. Thank you, you maggot. Thank you, Aqua Alex, for being here on the Memorial Day 2022 Bash. You may be wondering which friend I have with me. This is Liberty. Liberty is an American bald eagle. And the bald eagle is the symbol of life, liberty, and freedom. And the bald eagle is the national bird of America. And today, the bald eagle is paying respect to all the great veterans out there that have fought for our freedoms and ultimately paid the ultimate price and lost their lives. So, everybody say hello to Liberty, our bald eagle plush, who will be a part of my YouTube channel and several of my videos in the near future, including all my 4th of July specials that are coming up. So the very first Memorial Day Bash is very fun. I've had a great time, and we've got one final topic to talk about, and that is what can we do to help somebody with PTSD? And PTSD is common in veterans. So here is what to do for veterans suffering with PTSD. This could be a family member. Maybe you've got a veteran that is suffering from PTSD. This could be a personal friend or even a neighbor. But we, as American citizens, should be able to help any veterans that are suffering with PTSD. Now, PTSD can affect anybody, not just veterans, but 9 times out of 10, it is veterans who suffer from PTSD, having watched one of their best friends get killed and all the negative things that come with a war. So, here are my tips for dealing with someone that is having a PTSD syndrome or has PTSD. And when someone has PTSD, they can be very hostile, irate, they could be socially depressed, they may not want to hang out. But if you're friends or family, you can help them. So, the first thing you can do is provide social support. And you can do this by hanging out with that person. Make the veteran that has PTSD realize that they're special, that they're loved, and they're cherished because you're going to form a bond with them. And when they realize they're forming a bond, they will open up and they will talk about what it is that is causing their PTSD. You also want to do normal things with the person that has PTSD. There's those normal things could be going out to eat, hobbies, walking, running, etc. Because it will take their minds off of the negative things that happened in their life. Also, be very patient. Some people are going to have episodes from their PTSD where they constantly remember the negative things, but you have to be patient. You should also educate yourself about PTSD so you can learn about the symptoms, the effects, and treatment options. The next tip is to be a good listener. Listen to their stories and what happened to them so you can fully understand why it's such a negative thing that they went through. So some of the things they may tell you may be hard to listen to, like they'll explain in detail how one of their friends died or a very negative event that you probably wouldn't want to hear all the details about. But if they're friends or family, listen anyway so they can get it off their chest. And reassure them, say it's going to be okay, it's never going to happen again. You're away from the war now, you've got to live the rest of your life. Make sure that they know that you're not pushing them aside. You understand what's bothering them, but now they're away from that and they can at least attempt to have a normal life. The next tip is to rebuild trust and safety. Make sure you express your commitment to the relationship with them. Create routines so that they're getting up in the morning, getting a job, and doing things that normal people do so that they can, again, create a new life and leave their past negative experiences in the past. And know what a trigger is, know what triggers their negative experiences and what makes them mad. So, those would be my tips for dealing with PTSD in veterans. Well, personally, not my tips. They're tips from what I found online that some maggot took the time to write. That's why I like hosting the show as Sergeant AlexCardinale. I can call people pukes, I can call people scum, slimes, and maggots, and I can put people in the camel clutch or the cobra clutch if they get out of hand. One of my favorite wrestlers is Sergeant Slaughter. So that's the reason why I host these specials as Sergeant Alex Cardinale. All right, listen up, maggots. We've reached the end of today's show. I hope you enjoyed the inaugural Memorial Day bash. It's been an honor and a privilege to educate you on Memorial Day and have a little bit of fun as well. So, the next holiday celebration is going to be in 3 weeks. And guess what day it's going to be? It's going to be Father's Day. We just celebrated Mother's Day. Well, now you got to get ready for Father's Day. Mothers, you would not be a mother without a man. And you know what? So let's celebrate Father's Day in 3 weeks. I can't wait to host a Father's Day bash in just a matter of weeks here on the legendary Alex Cardinale. Also, me, Sergeant AlexCardinale, will be back in a couple of months to host another American holiday, another summer holiday, and perhaps one of my favorite holidays of the year because I love being an American, and that is the 4th of July celebration. So that will be taking place, I believe, on Sunday, July 3rd. It'll be the day before the 4th of July because I'll be working on the 4th of July most likely. So that's going to be fun. So maybe we'll do the 4th of July celebration on the actual 4th of July, but we still have a couple of months to decide the actual day. But the 4th of July celebration is going to be similar to this, but instead of talking about veterans PTSD, it'll be some more positive topics. So I can't wait for all of that. And don't forget our 700th video. Yes, that's right. My YouTube channel, the legendary AlexCardinale, has already hit over 680 videos. Now we're getting ready for our 700th. And the estimated day of our 700th video release, and it's going to be a live video, is on June 12th. So June 12th will be our 700th video, and I'll be doing a cooking video. I'll show you how to make a French onion soup, cream brulee for dessert as well, and we'll see what else the 700th video has in store. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary AlexCardinale. Sorry about that. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary AlexCardinale. With that being said, thank you for watching the Memorial Day 2022 bash. Remember, freedom is not free. So if you see a veteran, thank a veteran. Maggots, you are all dismissed. Thank you for watching the Memorial Day 2022 bash. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day, and I will see you on my next holiday bash. Good night, everybody.